Good evening. We are Chris Lee and Blake Lovell, the Southeastern 16, soon to be joined by Chase Robinson as soon as he gets some internet technical issues straightened out, hopefully. We got blowouts. We got dominant teams dominating. We got an upset we didn't see coming. We got Florida in its own category. We got a lot of stuff to talk about. We want to hear from you, your questions, your comments, hopefully your super chats. Please do that. That helps us make a living, keep the channel alive. Blake Lovell, lots to talk about. While we give Chase a minute to join us, tell folks about who sponsors our channel, please.
Well, maybe the Miami Hurricanes fans, but it's actually Bet Online. By the way, I like being on these shows now because I don't have to be with you guys during the predictions each week. So, I get to jump in here and say, you know what? I picked Miami. I picked Miami, folks. Don't listen to these other guys. I'm just kidding. Bet Online, the world's most trusted betting platform, your number one source for everything football. Every stat, every matchup, live odds and spreads to bet on during the games, which a lot of people were betting on certain spreads when it comes to SEC teams this week. If you think you know your stuff, get in on this new thing we've been telling you about. $200,000 mega contest where you pick 5 games against the spread every week for your chance at weekly prizes and a share of $200,000. If you picked against Vanderbilt this week, you're already out of there. When the game's over, head over to the online casino, get on the game of blackjack or poker, over 150 slots games. You can do it all at our friends at Bet Online. Head to the website today, get on the action, Bet Online. The game starts here.
All right, for those watching on replay, we're doing this at 8:34 Central Time. Texas A&M and Notre Dame have just played the longest 6-6 game in the history of organized football. So we don't think we'll be around when that one's over. We've got several blowouts in progress. We've got a few blowouts on the books. We got Chase Robinson in the background. And I can't let him in.
He'll come in when
he's ready. Are we just going to keep him in timeout?
So
we're doing.
Oh,
he's taking his time.
Let him sort some things out. He'll be in a second.
Okay. Off the top, what are the 2 or 3 things that stood out to you today?
Well, Georgia just dominated Clemson. I mean, we said this morning, live stream 8 a.m. I said I don't trust the Clemson offense to be able to do what they needed to do against Georgia in this game. Trusted Georgia a lot more in that department. Early on it was kind of your just methodical defense only type game, but I think you knew Georgia would eventually. There was at no point, Chris, in that game that I feel like Clemson was going to mount any sort of offense that was going to even challenge what Georgia was going to do for 4 quarters. So that was certainly one thing. And look, there's a couple other things, right? The Miami blowout of Florida, not good for the Gators right now. And, Vanderbilt beating Virginia Tech. Listen, Justin Holland is here, long-time member to the It Just Means More tier at Southeastern 16, which you can join by hitting that join button. And I did not give Vanderbilt much of a chance here. Not going to lie to you, Justin. I was wrong. Probably a lot of other people were wrong about this one. Virginia Tech, with all that returning experience on this, and the Commodores just... Here's what I've got for you, Chris. You tell me if you like this one, okay? I've decided to go with Van Diego. What do you think?
I like
Van Diego.
I know where you
like that
like
one?
it.
I think we should
trademark that kid makes a huge difference for that offense. He's just got some intangibles that are off the charts. And they need it. I'll tell you what, it's obvious to me, and maybe it's better coaching, that they've closed the gap. Now, I don't know if they're going to have a bowl season. That still seems like an uphill climb. But they look so much better today than they did last year.
That was impressive. Because here's the thing, too. It wasn't just last year. You were thinking the same thing I was thinking, I'm sure. Yeah. As that game got into the second half and you started to see a pattern playing out, you're thinking, uh-oh, I've seen this before. And instead, it was flipped to where all of a sudden, Vanderbilt was the one who made the plays to win the game. Yes, I know they missed the kick at the end of regulation. But, it just goes back to, there's so many times, and I'm sure Justin and so many other people that are Vanderbilt fans can tell you that these are the kind of games over the years that you look back on and say, how did we lose that one? But now you're asking, hey, we made the plays to win the game, and that was really impressive. Because remember, we talked about it this morning. I mean, Virginia Tech they weren't ranked, but like there are a lot of people who are like, why are they not ranked? And
me included.
Just came out and took it to them early. And yes, you knew they were going to make kind of their run there to back in it. But the Commodores, 1-0, beating what some people thought were, the ACC sleeper there. There you go.
Yeah, well, and that's one of those is you're kind of like, I saw some of their practices. Their offense was dreadful. And you're like talking it through to yourself, like, how do they win this game? That you got the defense was terrible last year. You got Virginia Tech with all that experience, but Diego Pavia makes up for so much. Again, I think their coaching was better. Hey, it's more fun when Vandy is at least a little bit competitive. I don't know how it's going to end for them, but I think they made big strides. We'll get into that, and we got a few Vandy fans in here. We got a lot of stuff to unpack in Florida. Yeah, and you know what? Philip said what I was thinking a little bit.
Our guy, Philip Jordan. I mean, I'm curious what the Southeastern 16 composite staff power rankings are going to look like on Monday, because, I don't know how much we take away from Mississippi State, steamrolling Eastern Kentucky. Vanderbilt is certainly not going to be last. I can tell you that with great certainty after that win. So, I mean, let's just go ahead and jump into that one, because, and remember, guys, we will touch on probably every game in some way, shape, or form. Obviously, we will not spend the same amount of time on every game just because we're doing basically a 1 hour wrap-up show here. But we will get you as much as we can in this 1 hour to hit on all the different things. But Florida, Miami, Chris, we talked about it this morning on the morning show. I told you, I said, this roster of Miami, you're starting to wonder, is the U back? Like the actual, like the U days of the U. And I know people are like, well, it's taking a little bit too far, but I don't know, man. This roster for Miami, I know this is about Florida too, but I think, to me, this was also a lot about Miami. I think that's a team that is college football playoff bound if everybody's healthy. Cam Ward just, and Chris, we talked about it this morning, the line play for Miami on both sides. Just,
yeah,
that's a strength for that team. Tyler Barron, monster in this game.
I'm not shocked that Miami won the game. I am surprised that Florida didn't make it more competitive. I mean, I thought there's that little voice in the back of your head saying, hey, man, maybe you've overrated Florida a little bit. Maybe I should have listened to that voice. But, hey, Chase Robinson with us now. Chase, I want to circle back to Georgia in a minute because there's a lot to unpack there too. But, Chase, now that you're getting in here, things that stood out to you today.
Yeah, so hopefully you can hear me, and hopefully everything's working now.
Is your mic on
TV? Which,
yeah, I think your AirPods are on. The mic will sound better. Opening day glitches.
Chase, yes. Like this is just Chase's first time. So, in the Saturday Night Live show, and like it's almost perfect because everybody who's followed this channel for 3 years knows that every time, like there's always something technically when we try to do live streams, like on a weekend night, for some reason. It's like everybody's at home, the internet's circuits are overloaded. I don't know. So,
yeah, multiple TVs going on in the Robinson household, and so I'm having to use the phone to do this. So, having to deal with the AirPods here. So, yeah, hopefully it's working out. Hopefully you can hear me. We can talk some football. But yes, and I've moved to a new location, as I'm sure you can tell, in the home. And so, yeah, a lot of new on this opening day of college football. But it's been a great day. I've been watching it all day, and I was hearing you guys talk about Florida and Miami, and really surprised that. But just kind of take it back from what I saw, just from Florida. Not really what I.
This is tremendous. Oh, this is just the best.
Remember when it used to be me all the time, and now it's
did
like
used to be
almost
you.
never me. I know
it's been rotating chairs, and there are gonna be people who are like joining. They're like, who are these guys? Like, how on earth do these guys have 18,000 subscribers? They got all kinds of, but I promise you, it's part of the fun here at Southeastern 16. So you'll get used to it. I just asked Justin and everybody else who's in here. So yeah. Krusty said we can hear him fine, and then 1 minute later, oh, check that, he's gone. So speaking of gone, Chris, it's probably to continue the Florida and Miami theme here. I just, I don't know. Like,
I don't know how Billy Napier survived this. And I know I'm the guy that said all off season, let's not bury the guy before the schedule does it. It just doesn't seem fair. But we kind of circled this as a little bit of a litmus test for them. And I just don't. I mean, how many? I think I saw. Didn't Graham Mertz get a little bit hurt today too?
Yeah.
Okay, they get Sanford next week, and then it's just Texas A&M, a Mississippi State team on the road that looks better than maybe I thought. I'm not going to read too much into just a slaughtering of Eastern Kentucky, but I mean, it just gets worse from there. I don't. There just was too much bad momentum, whatever the word is you're looking for here. Then it feels like he can survive. And if Miami's a litmus test as a top 10 team today, and again, that game was in the swamp, that just, ooh. I mean, it just doesn't feel like a thing that's going to end well.
We always say one game doesn't make a season, but isn't it kind of somewhat ironic where it's like, how for so long, and not to say that, they're going to come out and win 8 games, but this is incredible. It used to be people would say, all right, everything's going to be fine when we get to Vanderbilt on the schedule, right? For so many years, where now it's like Florida's probably lucky right now that they don't get Vanderbilt on the schedule, given the way this thing has started. But I don't know, man. It's, like we said, it was already going to be a tough schedule. I think you just wanted to see something other than that, if you're a Florida fan. And I think that's the thing. You said it, Chris. It's like, all off season, what was the biggest story? It was like, okay, not just this game, but it was, all right, this is maybe the turnaround, right? This is a chance. Like, this is an opportunity. Schedule's brutal, I get it, but roster seems more talented, all that. And then you come out and, there were multiple, I feel like, records or school records. I think most they'd given up in a home game to start the season or something like
home
that.
Opener.
41 points.
Yeah,
I don't remember the exact stat, but something like that. So
there we try this.
Yeah. So there you
go. Hello.
What do you have to say for yourself?
I hate the internet.
This is great.
Hopefully, though, I'm hearing you guys fine now.
Yeah, you sound great. Like, I'm not gonna lie to you. You sound better right now than you have in the last 5 minutes. Like, this is
okay. Good.
Peak
well, y'all sound better
now.
too. I can actually string sentences together from you guys. So my internet is performing like Florida and South Carolina, and
in 10 seconds or less, because that
Vanderbilt's
may be
better than my internet.
Anyways, all right, Chase. Just you can ramble your thoughts now. We've been talking. So, any additional thoughts?
Well, I don't know what y'all have discussed, but I know Georgia is absolutely dominant, and they were fun to watch. Florida, I was not expecting that. I really wasn't. I thought it would be a much better game than what we saw. I'm impressed with Miami. I liked what I saw from them. I almost wish I would have put them as the ACC champs when we did our college football playoff picks. I wish I had put Miami in there instead of Clemson at this point. Really liked what I saw from them. But, Georgia looked good. Auburn, of course, as I was watching that, they were looking good, obviously playing Alabama A&M, not the opponent I think we can judge Auburn off of. Alabama looking good on offense for the most part. So, it's been a good day, lots of football, and I've kind of lost my train of thought because of my internet, but I'm glad to be on here with you guys.
Georgia just went next man up today. I mean, you lose a starting receiver. They complete passes to what? 9 different guys today. London Humphreys, Vandy transfer, leads in with 2 catches for 63 yards and a long score. You go to Nate Frazier, who was maybe, I don't know where he was on the depth chart a month ago coming into the season, but he goes 11 for 83 in a score. I mean, it just felt like the same old Georgia. And I know some of this might be about Clemson. I'm sure Clemson fans are, that Dabo Swinney's lack of usage of the portal is going to be a big topic. But we're kind of going, okay, the computers have got Georgia as a dominant team, maybe 4 or 5 points ahead of the rest of the field. And I was like, okay, that's pretty strong for a team that lost some guys. And also, I get the Smile Munden, I guess, did he play today?
Yeah, he wasn't suspended, right?
Okay, he was in that discussion. I didn't get to see as much of that one as I wanted to. But anyway, point is, the machine just keeps on going. And they started slowly, but they hit their stride and kept it up.
Yeah, to a point to the transfer portal, just looking at Florida, they're 2 deep. Now, this is not on their entire roster. They probably have some more on their roster. But on the main 2 deep, there was 8 guys out of the transfer portal. 6 of those probably are starting for Georgia, and Clemson, none out of the transfer portal, obviously. And so, I mean, it shows Georgia's changing with the times. And if Clemson wants to be up there, we can have this conversation, every year, I feel like now that Dabo's just not up with the times, and Clemson's not going to be if you're not going to participate in the transfer portal. So it didn't surprise me that happened the way it did, and the way Georgia rolled, even without ETN. And I think they're just going to be even better when you add him in the mix. But just their domination, I mean, and it shows how important the transfer portal is, especially when you're a team like Georgia who's got to reload a lot.
Okay, so we've talked a little Vandy, we've talked a little Georgia. We've said if you're watching this late, A&M and Notre Dame are now early third quarter. Kentucky and Southern Miss may or may not play. God only knows with that one.
They're starting on Wednesday.
About like Chase's internet. Okay, Wednesday, great. That'll give us something to do in the midweek to break the monotony. And then you had, oh man, just a slew of blowouts. With the exception of South Carolina doing its thing and making it more interesting than maybe it should have.
Our guy, SEC Football, long-time live stream watcher here at Southeastern 16, giving us $1.99 on the Super Chat. We appreciate all the Super Chats, guys. Be sure to leave those. Justin, I know you left some earlier. We will get back to that in just a minute. We'll kind of bring it back around to Vanderbilt. I had a couple questions and comments on the Commodores. But this one, I did want to bring this up because, yes, Tennessee just hammered Chattanooga. Chris and I did as many mental gymnastics as we could this morning to try to find a way to keep that game close. It's just, you could tell from the start it was not going to happen. I mean,
not
Tennessee
very
came
sincerely.
out. No, we were trying for
there
every
was an
game.
attempt.
We was an attempt. There's another game we attempted that we're going to talk about in a second that we definitely got nowhere close to.
Oh yeah, you whiffed on that one.
Big time. But Tennessee went 69-3 over Chattanooga. Remember, that's not a bad Chattanooga team. They're really not. But Tennessee, the speed in which they play, and Nico was just sharp as could be. And now I know you're like, okay, they played Chattanooga. They didn't play Clemson. I get it. But 22 of 28, 314, 3 touchdowns, didn't play in the second half. And I think that was what stood out to me. Like, I know, again, the opponent matters, but you just you watch Tennessee and you just continue to realize that, like, just the speed and the tempo that they play with. And now that they've got this guy running the show, it could be scary. Like that. We'll see how it plays out in SEC play, but they were at least fun to watch in an opening week blowout. So,
yeah, they were. I mean, I've been getting a lot of comments when we do Tennessee videos because I always point out that I'm not buying into Nico until I see him play. And now that I've seen some of him, like he's the real deal. I mean, I think he can be one of the next big guys for Tennessee that we're talking about for years to come.
Well, and look, he's still very young into his football career. Most of these guys that are starting quarterbacks in the SEC have been playing football, what, 8 or 10 years longer than he has, maybe. And so I think there was some fair questioning until he showed it. Everybody knows the talent's there. Everybody knows the personality, the leadership are there. But I don't think that was unreasonable. But yeah, I mean, were they at 38 before the end of the first quarter today?
No, they were up
31
first quarter. You mean they had 45 at the half?
Okay.
It was 24-0 in the first quarter, but I mean, it was just boom, 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 boom. Like they couldn't be stopped. So
yeah.
Yeah.
Alabama's kind of doing that to Western Kentucky as we speak too. They are putting those dudes under the turf.
I think it's like, and we said it this morning, it's like when you have some of these games like that, where it's like Alabama versus Western Kentucky, which is, again, not a bad Western Kentucky team. We said TJ Finley was coming in there as a quarterback, and they had some pieces, but I think you immediately, when you watch these games, it's like the first thing that stands out is like you just go to the line of scrimmage, and you realize that it is just, you see the dudes on the line of scrimmage for Tennessee and Alabama and all these other teams we talked about, and you're just like, that's it. Like, that's where the game is won. It's not just the fact that they got X, Y, Z at quarterback and run. It's just up front. It's just the guys who just get pushed around, and it's just another level. So,
by the way, is Lane Kiffin going to put 100 on Furman tonight?
He might.
Just to
He's going to sure try. I guarantee you that.
Speaking of Lane Kiffin, we did have this question earlier. To get back to Florida. Which, by the way, I want to quickly say about Florida. I know Lagway's numbers were not great, but like you can definitely see why that guy is just. There's a lot of talent there, and remember he's playing Miami in game 1 and having to come in a blowout. But I thought he did some decent things. I know he threw a pick, but here you go. If Lane makes the playoff this year but doesn't win at all, would he take the Florida job if offered or stick with Ole Miss? We're already asking, like, it's week 1, right? That's not great for Florida. So.
Chase is just messing with us now.
That's fine.
That would be that. I mean, that'd be a phenomenal fit for what's worked there.
I think he would take it in a heartbeat.
I mean, Florida's what, a top 5 job in the country still.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. It's interesting. It's interesting to think about. So, anyways, all right, continue. Do you want to talk about South Carolina? Because I mean,
yeah, because that's one of the. I mean, we're talking about a bunch of 50-something point blowouts in games that we mostly knew were going to be 50-something point blowouts. So that's like one where they were a 20-point favorite. They couldn't throw the ball early. They hung on late. I mean, again, Shane Beamer's teams always get better as the year goes on. Don't think it's time to hit the panic button. Old Dominion played like every game within a touchdown last year, almost, no matter who they were playing. So there's that. But I mean, you would have liked to seen more out of Lenore Sellers. You didn't know what you're getting. You would have liked to see Rocket Sanders a little more productive. But they won.
I don't know.
For Sellers, I think that there's so much on Sellers. I mean, he's a freshman quarterback. He had a good spring game, but I mean, I feel like it's going to take him a little bit to get adjusted to playing SEC football on an SEC football stage like he is. He's got good pieces around him, but still, I think it's going to take him a couple of weeks to get acclimated to what he's doing.
Man, what do they average? About 4 yards a snap today?
I was about to say, are you sure? Like, I know, like, they won, but
now that I'm looking at it a little bit more, it might be under 4 yards a snap.
That's not what they wanted.
No. And look, we thought they'd be better on defense, but they've talked Sellers up. They added Rocket Sanders, which I was wondering. I mean, it just seems like when a running back loses his health, that's sometimes that can be tough to come back from, and maybe that's the case here.
I mean, Old Dominion was picked. I had to look this up because I was trying to find it, but weren't they picked?
What did Sanders average? 3.7 a carry? Something like that?
Yeah, now that I look a little more in the box score, that might be a little more problematic. I mean, but it is also 1 week, and it's a new quarterback making his first start. So,
yeah, I mean, Old Dominion was picked 6th in the East Division in the Sun Belt in the preseason poll. Now you can say, well, Vanderbilt was picked where they were, and they just beat Virginia Tech. I get it, but I just think that's probably one for South Carolina fans, because we've talked about this, and we have some South Carolina fans weighing in, but there have been some of the good things with Shane Beamer, and there have been some not so good things with Shane Beamer, and I think that this was kind of a year where they were. Again, they won. You're right. Let's stay positive here. They won. We'll see what happens next.
Nick Harbor didn't have a catch today. I just noticed that. Didn't catch. I
Yeah,
mean, look, this is a hard week because we got 16 games going on. When the teams start playing each other in conference, that's a lot easier to follow. So we're just not going to be able to air traffic control everything, but that also stands out.
The thing for South Carolina, though, is they got Kentucky next week.
That's right. Yeah, it's Kentucky.
Yeah, it's SEC game for South Carolina. So you got to rebound from this quickly, because you got an SEC game. You got to get some things straightened out here.
Chase, Alabama. I mean, in a week of impressive performances, that's right up there with anybody. They were just explosive off the jump tonight.
Yeah, they were. Running game looked really good. Justice Haynes broke out with a big, 90-yard run. So I know if those of you watched the SEC Football Hour and watched our fantasy draft, and I went out on a limb and took Justice Haynes as a running back on my team, and he had a 95-yard touchdown run tonight. So I was glad to see that. But yeah, Alabama's looked good. They're up, now 56-0 on Western Kentucky. TJ Finley, the quarterback at Western Kentucky. So, it's a fairly big name, of course, former quarterback at Auburn, spent some time at LSU. So Western Kentucky was able to move the ball some to start. They were never able to get points, obviously get into the red zone really, but they were able to move the ball. And I think, Chris, we've talked about multiple times on the channel, who's going to step up in the secondary at Alabama. And I feel like they're still trying to figure that out, because Western Kentucky was able to get some big passes off throughout especially in the first half of this game. And so I think we're still waiting to see kind of who the guy to step up in the secondary for Alabama is. But that's really the only concern I saw was some mismatches on defense. Not really mismatches, but just tackling issues and really identifying who the leader is in the secondary. But Alabama's having a great game.
Well, elsewhere in the Yellowhammer State, Auburn is sticking it to Alabama A&M with a 59-point lead in the third quarter. I wonder if they'll go to short clock here, like who was it did the other night? Arkansas did that. But, hey, Peyton Thorne, you wanted to see a better line. He's 13-21 for 322, 4 touchdowns, no picks as we speak. They've spread it around. Keandre Lambert-Smith had 3 catches for 82 scores. The Penn State transfer, Cam Coleman's got 2 for 62 in the score. Big play night for Auburn. I wouldn't read a lot into that, but this could have gone the other way where the offense struggled and they didn't do much. So you're seeing out of Auburn, if you're an Auburn fan, what you wanted to see so far.
I've been watching that game as well, and I've been really impressed with Peyton Thorne. The way he's been able to step up and throw. Last year, I feel like there was times where he just didn't look as confident to maybe scramble out and throw a deep ball, but he was doing that some. And so I feel like he looks like a different quarterback in some ways. I mean, there was some inconsistencies during the first half of what I saw from Auburn, but there was definitely some times where he was able to confidently step up and chunk it down the field, and he looked much better tonight. And again, I know it's not an SEC opponent, it's Alabama A&M, but still just poise and confidence. Peyton Thorne looked much better than what we saw last year.
Okay, there's one FBS on FBS game we haven't discussed yet. That is Texas beating Colorado State 52-0. Pretty impressive performance there. Texas took control of that one in the second quarter. Got Arch Manning a lot of time in the second half. Blake, I think we thought that could be I'm not going to say a sneaky good game, but the line was 35. Well, we could see a scenario where Colorado State beat that, but that was not meant to be today. No,
and we said it felt like the reason was it was not that we thought Colorado State was necessarily going to be competitive, in the first whatever. It was that we thought that Colorado State, because they throw the ball, you're thinking, okay, Texas may get up early, pull some guys, and maybe Colorado State grabs a few points on the backside to keep it within that number. But yeah, that wasn't happening because they pretty much just got it was 7-0 into the first quarter. Then Texas just took off from there. But like we said earlier, and we said it this morning, it's just like the thing is, if you're Texas and you get up big on somebody and you take Quinn Ewers out, and guess what? You're just going to bring Arch Manning in, and it's like you just don't really have to change much because of just the talent in that quarterback room. So, yeah, I mean, it was exactly what you want to see. I think if you're a Texas fan, I mean, they just did so many things right. And I'll tell you something else. We're not quite there yet, but I know we're going to be previewing that game coming up on Monday. But, Michigan and Fresno State has not exactly been a thrill ride for Michigan fans right now. It was 9-3 for the longest time. Now it's 16-3 or whatever. So late in the fourth quarter or middle fourth quarter. So it's not like Michigan's just running away with this game against Fresno State. So Texas feeling pretty good, probably heading into that one next week.
Okay, we have not touched on really Ole Miss Furman other than a mention there against Southern Miss Kentucky, still in a delay. We hit Tennessee, Chattanooga. We hit Miami, Florida. We hit Vandy Tech off the jump. South Carolina, Mississippi State, Eastern Kentucky. That was one where, you figured State would win in a row. I think that line, though, even came down into the low 20s, but Blake Shapen was super efficient tonight, 15-20 for 247, 3 scores. Rushing by committee, 203 yards rushing. Nobody had more than 44. We kind of wondered how the running back room was going to break down. I don't know that we have any clear answers tonight. Just kind of a lot of big plays for Mississippi State. The box score doesn't look like a 56-7 game. Total offense, 450 to 295. But State scored on a bunch of big plays, and I think that was maybe kind of the difference. I don't know what we take away from that, but didn't get to see any of it. It looks like Blake Shapen had a pretty good game, Chase.
Yeah, he was 15 of 20, 247, 3 touchdowns, average 12.4, hit Jordan Mosley on a 65-yarder, Mario Craver on a 54-yarder, and Kevin Coleman Jr. on a 25-yard pass for touchdowns. Those were his touchdowns. And so I'm interested to see what State does with Shapen, because obviously he's a big play guy. They were able to hit 3 of them. Again, Eastern Kentucky is who they were playing, but he looked good passing the ball. He looked comfortable doing that and heaving it down the field. And so I'm interested to see if that's kind of their game plan moving forward, is go with the deep ball. They need to get that run game established. They do have several guys on the column today, but I'm interested to see what Jeff Lebby does as far as the running back room, if he keeps that kind of committee approach or what moving through the season, or if this was just something he utilized in the game today.
Either of you get a chance to watch? I'm sorry, Blake, you may have had a thought there.
No, I was just going to do a quick reset, but you go right into what you needed to, and then we'll grab a couple comments from Rusty and others here in the chat.
Yeah, I was going to say the only game we really haven't talked about was Ole Miss. Jackson Dart had a video game line for the ages, 22 of 27, 418, 5 touchdowns. Chase, you mentioned our fantasy draft. That's about the only thing I feel good about so far. That and Trey Harris, he had a big night too, 8 for 178, 2 scores. Again, they spread it around. And Furman is a pretty good FCS team, most years, for whatever that's worth. Not much tonight, but yeah, I mean, the thing I said, I thought Ole Miss's defense was potentially one of the best in the league. Tonight, they've got a shutout into the fourth quarter and have allowed 124 yards. And really not a turnover day. They've got a 1-0 turnover edge. So again, I don't know what you take away from that, other than Ole Miss looks as good or better than we thought it would. But yeah, Ole Miss doing dominant things early in the defense part of it, Chase.
Yeah, and we kind of expected this to happen. Maybe not 70-something points that they have on the board, but yeah, I mean, what they've done in the offseason to assemble the defensive roster that they had is incredible. I mean, you look up and down it. The more, Chris, I know the more we dove into this Ole Miss roster, especially on the defensive side of the ball, we thought, wow, I mean, this is they got some dudes, and that's going to help them win games. I mean, you're looking at an Ole Miss team that can go deep this year just because of what they've done on defense. And again, to pitch a shutout so far in this one says a lot about the defense.
Yeah, I thought Ole Miss was legitimately the second best team in this league. I don't know that we have any clarity on that tonight because the juggernauts that we thought we'd see are doing juggernaut type things tonight. And of course, we'll jury's out on LSU. We get to see them tomorrow, and A&M is currently in a – I don't think either team wants to score. So there's that. But anyway, Blake, you were going to reset us. I think we've touched on everybody at this point. So if you missed your team so far, we did go back and talk about you at some point. If you're watching this on replay again, A&M, Notre Dame in the third quarter, Kentucky hasn't started. But Blake, reset us. What are some things to hit here?
Yeah, just quickly, we may, again, if you're an A&M fan, you're watching this, or you're watching on replay, we can't guarantee you that we will be discussing the end of this A&M Notre Dame game. We go about a little less than an hour here, so that game's probably going to still be going. Notre Dame just scored, so it's 13-6 now. So not ideal for the Aggies. And Sam Smith wants a reset, so I'm going to give Sam Smith a reset here.
Sam gets what he wants around here.
Sam gets what he wants. We are going to get to some of your super chats. We're going to get to some of your questions, and we will get to that shortly. But yeah, if you're just hopping on for the first time this season, which is the first time we've done it, so I would hope it's the first time you're hopping on, then hit that subscribe button, hit the like button for us if you enjoy everything we do here at Southeastern 16. We do this every Saturday night. We will probably be doing most Saturday mornings, kind of a game day show as well. Chris and I did that this morning, so you can check that out. And actually, here's what I'm going to say. Don't check that out because we definitely had some thoughts that did not age well. Maybe just watch next week. It may be better. Probably won't be. But yeah, so check out everything. We do our predictions for every weekend game. You'll get those on Monday, Tuesdays each week. So, again, if you want to either root us on to be right or wrong, you can do that. So, yeah, we have fun here at Southeastern 16, and we appreciate you guys joining us. Hit that super chat button. Donate to the channel. Let's us do more of these for you guys. And remember, check out our friends at BetOnline. And as always, if you're interested in sponsoring us, you can reach out to caroline.smith@southeastern14.com. Right there on the screen, Chris. How great is that?
How great is that? Notre Dame has just scored.
Again?
After I said nobody was going to score.
Oh,
I mean, I must have missed that by a couple seconds. Okay, sorry.
You weren't listening.
No, I wasn't listening. I don't listen to any. Biggest takeaways, maybe 3 or 4 from today. Chase, I'll start with you and go to Blake.
I would say that a big takeaway for me, I'll start with the Georgia game. And I think Georgia, the running back room, again, I mentioned with ETN even out, like that's the most dominant run game, I think, in college football right now. And I was really impressed with them. I think that's how they're going to win a lot of games. And I know because all the talk was on receivers, like who's replacing Ladd McConkey, who's replacing Brock Bowers and those guys in the receiver room, but what they've done in the running back room and even the freshmen that came in, like, boy, they look good. And so Georgia is dominant, but past that, their run game is dominant to me.
Guys, can I just quickly add, if you want one of my most impressive takeaways, Chris, we just talked about this game, but I'm going to just give you a couple things on Furman, all right? So Furman came into the season, if you just sort of look at, the buzz around what do people think about the Furman Paladins this year, right? Top 15 FCS team. Some people thinking they're like that sleeper team or maybe more than that to be in the national title conversation. Ole Miss is up 76-0 on them with 11 minutes to go in the fourth quarter, and probably if you had left the starters in, it'd be 100 right now. So, I mean, I know, like, I don't know how much we read into game one. I get it, and we said earlier the difference is the line of scrimmage, and we keep saying that with these SEC teams. They just dominate up front, and not everybody. But I don't think we should just overlook this as just hey, they're just playing an absolute nobody, right? Like you said it. I mean, Furman's usually pretty good, and you sort of look at the expectations for this team coming into the season. I think this is more impressive maybe than even just the score suggests for the Rebels. So,
yeah, and I think Tennessee can be in that category too, because Chattanooga is a top 10.
Yeah, top 10.
Yeah, I mean, so I think that's a take. Just the overall. I mean, Auburn 66-3 at the end of the third quarter. Again, don't know if they'll go to a 10-minute quarter in that one. At the end, I think Georgia's domination probably the biggest story of the day, followed by Florida. Doesn't look great. Not ideal.
I mean, Vanderbilt too. I mean, I think.
I think Vandy. I was going to say Vandy. I think is the next one. I was just really surprised. And look, Virginia Tech may not be as good as we thought, but Blake, you and I don't think we saw that one coming.
No, I think when you compared the experience that Virginia Tech had coming back and the unknowns that we just had with Vanderbilt, I think it was fair just to be like, don't know. I mean, sure, you could say Vanderbilt was going to win if you were predicting the game or something, but what was the biggest argument for that? And I mean, look, Justin had a couple super chats earlier asking different questions, Chris, and you can answer these rapid fire if you want, because he had, I think, 3 of them. Actually, one of them's kind of fun. But, Jerry Kill coming in, Clark Lee now being, I mean, to me, the answer to this is probably both, right? I mean, I think would you answer both to this question?
Well, I think the answer is bigger than that. I think that their coaching is just, like, I watched them last year and I just thought, how on God's green earth are they going to be much better this year? Because they weren't anywhere near the ball a lot of times. That they looked slow. They got dominated at the line of scrimmage. You didn't see any of those things today. And it's a lot. I mean, I know they hit the portal hard. I thought the additions they made in the portal on defensive line really showed up today. They outsacked Virginia Tech 4-2. And you're going, okay, big deal. But Vanderbilt hadn't exactly been known as a line of scrimmage team. So I thought that kind of stood out. They overhauled everything. They changed coordinators. Clark Lee runs their defense now, which he was a pretty good defensive coordinator at Notre Dame. That's probably an understatement. And here's I don't think we've talked about Diego Pavia. Like right now, if you're naming an SEC Player of the Week, it might be him. I mean, you had other guys that put up gaudy numbers, but I mean, he made plays in a close game that mattered. He'd rushed for over 100, passed for close to 200, had 3 touchdowns, didn't turn it over, and really made, like, if you go out and watch the highlights, he made some really impressive plays just on his feet. I mean, the touchdown pass that he threw in regulation to tie it, he's kind of running towards the hash and about to turn it in, and just like that, he flips his hips, slings it to the left, almost looked like a lateral. And there aren't a lot of guys that have the ability to just make almost a point guard like decision on a fast break the way he does. And I thought, look, I think I would still bet against Vandy going to a bowl, right? Don't get me wrong. Let's not anoint them a top 25 team, but I think the possibilities for them, I thought, okay, their defense can be a good bit better and they'll still be bad. I don't know that I believe that anymore. After watching the way they played at the line of scrimmage and after seeing what Pavia gives them.
Chase, what do you think of the Commodores?
I was super impressed. I was kind of flipping back and forth from Georgia over to that game, and I caught some of the. I just happened to flip over.
Nope.
Frozen.
He's gone again.
Frozen.
The
Chase.
Commodores were too much.
Get him in.
I knew I shouldn't have asked about the Commodores.
They were too much for more than just Virginia Tech, apparently.
Yes, but I was impressed with them. As I was saying, I happened to flip over a couple of times when they were in the middle of some of these drives. I mean, it was they were fun. They were fun to watch today.
This is
Poor
fun.
Chase.
Blake, it's good. You and I hadn't done a show since when, Blake?
It's been a while. Probably basketball.
I mean, other than the one this morning. It's been a minute.
This day's been the longest day because I'm like, we did that show at 8 a.m. this morning. It's like 9 p.m. and I'm just like, what is? This is like one long continuous day. But yeah. So, anyways, what else we got? I mean, it's like, what else do we? Just there's so many blowouts, and it's just, we're trying here, but there's so many blowouts, and yeah, we could talk about Georgia for an hour. Kentucky's finally playing football this year.
I was going to say, breaking news: Kentucky is 3 minutes into a ball game.
They're playing. Brock Vandegrift with 3 carries for 34 yards on the opening drive. By the way, interesting there. Huh?
I'm a little interested in that one, just to see how that looks with him under center.
I know you guys know, but for the unaware, who Southern Miss's quarterback is.
Oh, I know this.
Yeah,
it's the kid from Florida State.
Rodemaker, yeah.
No. Threw an interception on the first drive.
All right. Way to go, Tate.
Not ideal.
Not ideal.
Anyway.
LSU USC tomorrow night. Can't wait to see that one, guys.
Yeah.
That should be a fun one.
Who'd you guys
pick? LSU.
LSU.
Got hammered by the Southern Cal fans for that. But
that's why I asked, because I was like, you got like 2 different parts of the country. You got Miami fans, you got USC fans. Like, you guys are going to be hated all across the entire geography of the United States.
You have what I sent you. Pull that up.
Oh yeah, let me pull that up here. 1 second. I'm going to grab a couple comments and I'll pull that up. Yeah.
Speaking of,
let me grab a couple of these real quick. All right, you guys stall for a second. I'll find it.
Okay. Chase, you didn't you?
I did not.
Okay, you'll get a laugh when you see this.
Player of the day. Diego
Pavia.
Van Diego. Yeah. All right.
Van Diego. Chase, you got a different one?
It's so funny because there are going to be some people listening on audio and you're just not getting the full experience, folks. You have to come and subscribe to our YouTube channel because you just don't get the full experience audio-wise. So
I have a theory. Chase, does this ever happen with just me and you?
Oh, one time in the 3-4 months I've been working here.
If you think about it, we have the most issues when there are 3 people on. So, like, I almost feel like this is not our fault. There's something going on in our recording software here. We won't name names, but
I had a name in mind, but
I'm gonna direct to my internet provider because it is 100% their fault.
Do you want to out your internet provider?
No, I don't.
All right, so player of the day. I will go. I'm gonna go Jackson Dart. I'm sorry, I know but the guy threw for 418 yards and 5 touchdowns. So, I mean, there's a lot of choices.
That might single-handedly wreck or redeem the fantasy team I put together. Yeah. That I've been regretting.
Yeah.
A lot today.
All right, let's pull this up for the people. And let me see if I can.
And the background on this is I picked Florida stupidly. Yeah. And boy, did I hear about it from some Miami fans. Yeah. I haven't looked at the comments on that one. I'm guessing they kept receipts. And you know what? Fine. More power to you.
Folks, let me just tell you. We love picking games because it's just fun. We pick every game in every sport here, and it's just like we know we're going to get them wrong, but we have fun here at Southeastern 16.
Kentucky just scored.
Well, they did. Touchdown. I got a lot of stuff in the comments here. Sam saying I love my internet provider. Yeah, mine. We all know I have a relationship there with them. Rusty's calling me a Lane Kiffin lover. I like.
We all got
teams who
called
go out
Alabama
and
fans.
Well, I mean, listen.
Did you catch
come
I
that?
on.
saw that.
We're fans of all. We're fans of every school out there. We're fans of
We have
winning.
16 favorite
because-
schools.
Yes,
Right.
we do. So, all right. I'm really trying to find this now. We're going to get there, I promise. And this is a big stall on my part, but you guys know that's how this works. Keep
We're
going,
in
Chris. Keep
preseason
stalling.
form here.
Yeah. What's going on in A&M Notre Dame? Alert the masses.
Not a lot of scoring if you're A&M.
Well, there's a surprise.
Yeah, 13-6, still the score. I mean,
I would say
Looks
Notre
like-
Dame's defense looks awfully good. Their defensive backfield is really something.
All right.
and we
Yeah.
knew they would be.
All right, folks. So on the screen here,
Yeah.
again, if you're not watching, you're not gonna get the full experience. So, tweet from the one and only Chris Lee here. Now we're gonna read the tweet and then we're gonna show you what actually is gonna pop up here. So, Chris's response to this is, yes, I missed horribly on picking Florida to beat Miami, and yes, the Canes fans all own it. You got my respect with your win, and congrats to you, but to whatever joker got my phone number, I will not be donating to your NIL. Now, why would Chris say that? Well, because if we scroll on down here, you're actually going to see that Chris received a message from, this may be coming from Cam Ward himself. I don't know.
Could be.
But Chris got a message saying, come on, bring the cash, Chris. We just went and won at Florida. You need to be donating to the Miami NIL Collective. All you got to do, membership, $1 for your first month if you sign up now. So if anyone's interested in joining, you can join right here at https://canesconnection.com/join. There you go, Chris.
They got that out quickly after the game, too. I got to give them credit. I mean, that game had not been over for an hour when I got that text.
Yeah. So you heard it here first. Chris donating $1 a month to the Miami NIL Collective. So,
big opinions changing. Let me phrase it. Is your opinion changed on much of anything after today? And again, we got 2 games still to be finished tonight and 1 more tomorrow. But Chase,
I wouldn't say really changed. I mean, a lot of these games are going like we expected. You know, maybe some teams are better than we thought, or I say better, look better in opening week. Disappointed in Florida, obviously, but I wouldn't say my opinion on anything has changed after one football game on the last day of August.
I'm not willing to go too far just yet, but I do think there is reason to believe that Vanderbilt is better than we thought. I think that is without going too far in the opposite direction. Like, yes, as we said earlier, that's not the kind of game you see Vanderbilt win. Over the years, like we've just said it, like historically, it's just not that. And remember, like you said, Chris, think about what your opinion is coming out of last year. And there was not that strong confidence that this was the kind of performance you were going to get. Because remember, too, it's like, yes, I know it came back, overtime game, but, it's like Vanderbilt just took control of that game early. And so I know we're still talking about a team that's probably going to, finish lower. But I think if you're trying to find something that wasn't just full-on beatdown in a lot of these games, I think that's definitely one that we have to sort of look at, because I feel like everything else was really, yes, I told you I thought Miami would beat Florida, but I didn't think it'd be by 24 points.
yeah, Vandy and Florida, the only teams that my opinion has changed on, more than just a little bit. Don't know how much, but everybody else was kind of in the range of what we figured.
Krusty,
I like it.
Krusty weighing in. Opinion on Chase's internet hasn't
Krusty's
changed.
not
Sucked
been here
in
in
the
a while.
beginning.
Welcome back,
Sucks
Krusty.
now. Well, yeah, we haven't done one of these in a long time. So,
And if we want to go back with an asterisk to Arkansas, I would like to see what Arkansas does against somebody besides Bishop Sycamore. In a real game, but
Bishop Sycamore.
Justin did ask us to circle back to some questions.
Yeah, we'll do that quickly. We're gonna hop out in about 3 minutes. Again, guys, sorry we tried to do this for an hour, but is he on dial up, Rusty? Maybe. Who knows? By the way, Ian, we did talk about South Carolina earlier. That's another one, Chris. I would add as another.
Yeah, I might be a little
that.
more bearish on them, but I'm not ready to jump off a cliff there yet.
Yeah. Anyways, Justin did gift the 1 membership, so we appreciate that to Tyler, which Tyler, also a regular here. So we appreciate that, Justin, gifting out It Just Means More memberships. The guys, it's $3.99 a month. That is just a donation to the channel. Lets us make all these videos we do for you guys each week. So, yeah.
I'll take some donations for internet.
Listen, we're now renaming It Just Means More to Chase Internet Fund. So if you would like to donate to CIN, C-I-N, the Chase Internet, or wait, no, I can't. SIF, Chase Internet Fund, CIN. It's late. It's 9:30. Chris and I did a show at 8 a.m. this morning. It's 9:30 p.m. Forgive.
Blake needs
all right,
church tomorrow.
Let's get back to this. All right, so quickly, Justin, we're going to run through these. More impressive, Vanderbilt D or Vanderbilt O? Which one was more impressive? What
was that?
What was that?
Is it your birthday, Blake?
My birthday is on Monday, but that was way too weird. Way too weird. I don't know what that... What is going on here? Hold on a second. This is. What? Did you guys see that? Am I dreaming? Okay. Hold on a second. Let me do something else here. Let me put this back on the screen. Is this a new street? No, I'm not gonna say their name. Is this a new thing?
Probably the defense. But it's close.
Man, I don't know what's going on right now. Maybe the super chat's rolling in, but I don't know why I had balloons behind me. That was really weird. But Justin donated to the Internet Fund. So did Krusty, $4.99. You too can donate to the Chase Internet Fund, also known as CIN. You can also donate. So that, look, everybody's asking about the balloons. We're all sitting here, and people are like, are we seeing things at 9:30? We've watched a lot of games, but some tailgating today. People are probably trying to figure out what's going on. So,
yeah, if you're listening to us on the podcast versus watching it on YouTube, you're getting 2 very different experiences tonight.
Oh, here we go. It's a Mac thing. All right, so if you give the screen a thumbs up.
I know that, yeah.
Is that what happens? Okay.
It does, and of course now it's not.
Okay.
But if you give it a thumb up, it'll put a big hand with a thumb up on your screen eventually.
Look at that.
There you go.
That's incredible. I had no idea. So, yeah, you're right. Listen, by the way, yeah, we are lame. Trust me, we know that already. You don't have to let everybody know. Hey, Chris owned up. Hey, listen, Chris owned up to the Miami thing. So
I did. I will not.
I was all in on Miami this morning. So he's donating to the NIL fund. So you're welcome. I'd love to have Miami in the SEC. They'll be here one day.
Congratulations,
Gaines. They'll be here one day. So, anyways, all right, we're about to hop off, but we appreciate you guys. Anything else, Chris? Closing remarks, closing comments.
Nope. We'll be back, I guess, Monday with power rankings, maybe talking LSU, USC, and yeah, can't wait. Been a fun week and a lot of fun ahead.
To wrap it up right here, this is the story of the evening. I must be deep in SEC country to not have a decent internet connection. Well,
deep in SEC country.
There you go.
Some deep with others.
Oh, quickly.
All right.
Justin, hold on. Justin wants one more.
Sorry.
He gave us a super chat earlier. I forgot to get to
it.
$2 super chat. Better season, Nico or Diego, and who has the better name?
Nico for the season, Diego for the name.
Interesting. I like Nico.
I like Nico both ways.
Nico had a day.
Yeah. All right. Great. Chris?
Yeah. Going to stay up and watch a little Kentucky. Oh, A&M is knocking on the door here.
We will have thoughts on that, guys. We will have
Yeah.
additional thoughts on A&M Notre Dame, maybe Monday morning, but we will get to that one. We have about an hour here, and this game has just slowly moved along. So, yeah.
Very slowly.
Yeah.
That's a fitting end of the night.
Chase is out of here. See you later.
All right. I think I'm out of here too. For Blake Lovell, I'm Chris Lee. We are Southeastern 16. Thanks to all of you who watched. Hope your team had a good day. We'll see you again on, I guess, Monday, Blake, with more content. Hit that subscribe button if you haven't. Hit the like button. Enable your notifications so you know when we're going live and doing all the things we do. Everybody have a happy and safe weekend. God bless you all. We see you again soon. Southeastern 16 presented by Bet Online.